Hi, I'm Joe Bergamini, and I'd like to talk to you today about the Iron Cobra pedal. When you open up the case, obviously you'll see the pedal, you'll see the documentation with the owner's manual. The owner's manual contains a lot of the material that we're going to talk about today. It also contains a few other parts that we're going to discuss later. Take out your pedal, and the only assembly you really need to make, take the quick lock attachment, simply place it over the washer, and then your pedal is actually ready to play. Now there are a lot of other adjustments we're going to talk about, but that's the only essential one to get you started. And then you can use the power clamp to attach the pedal to your bass drum. Basically there's two adjustments for the power clamp. There's this master washer that's notched. By tightening or loosening this, you set the master height of the clamp that attaches to the hoop. The Iron Cobra will attach to any drum hoop thickness, including electronic drums, metal hoops, so you get in the ballpark by using this height adjustment. After you've made your initial adjustments, simply slide the pedal on, use this wing nut to tighten it. If you find that it doesn't fit, use the larger adjustment to get more height and then try it again. Once this is tight, you're ready to go. So as I said before, there are a lot of other features on the pedal. Let's take a look at some of those right now. The first thing that a lot of drummers like to adjust on their pedal to customize it to themselves is the spring tension. That can be done with these two washers down here. The bottom one is a lock-in washer. In order to adjust the tension, loosen the top one, press down, and then you can adjust the bottom one up or down. When you have it in its desired location, it will lock in. Then you can retighten the top one to your new tension setting. These are some of the accessories and tools that come with the pedal. There's the beater balancer, tight lock, two different size Allen wrenches for adjustments, and the drum hammer, which contains a large Allen wrench and a drum key. The drum hammer is your most useful adjusting tool for the Iron Cobra pedal. The drum hammer stores right in the side of the Iron Cobra pedal. Let me show you how to attach the beater balancer. This will slide up and down the shaft of the beater to allow you to adjust its feel. You can play without it if you'd like. To attach it, take the beater out, slide the beater balancer over the shaft of the beater, then reinsert the beater. You can then tighten these nuts with the drum hammer. Simply by moving this little counterweight up and down the shaft of the beater, you can change the feel of the beater. If you move it up to the top, when you play the pedal, it's going to give it a heavier feel. It's going to make like the beater feel like it's heavier. Move it down lower, it decreases that. It also has sort of a fringe benefit that I don't know was really intended, but if I need to take my beater out, I actually play mine at the bottom. And if you play it at the bottom, it adds just a little bit of weight to the beater, and it actually works for me as a memory lock to know how far in I like to put my beater, the adjustment of how high I like my beater to be. But you can move it up and down the shaft. It's a very quick way to change the feel of your pedal. The beater itself can be adjusted in height using this nut right here, using the drum hammer, and it comes in and out very simply like this. It comes with a felt beater. There are some other beaters that you can attach, and there's an adjustment here where you can remove this beater and put a different one on. When you set your pedal up to play, you want to make sure that when you rotate it, that when it's striking the drum head, that it's flat against the drum head. You don't want it angled either way. There's one other little add-on part. It's called tight lock, and the function of this is to make sure that your beater doesn't come loose at all while playing. Simply screw it on over the nut that holds the beater, and it can be tightened with the drum hammer. What I would consider slightly more sophisticated adjustments of the pedal that some drummers like to get into is adjusting the angle of the footboard and the angle of the beater. And on all Iron Cobra pedals, you can adjust these things independently from one another. Let's talk about the Speedo Ring and adjusting the angle of the footboard. in order to adjust the angle of the footboard, loosen this nut, and then, as you can see, the footboard can be adjusted to basically any angle. Now, on the black end cap here, there are these notches which allow you to choose a marking and then return to that marking later to see which adjustment suits you best. When you find the one you want, simply retighten, and your footboard will be at its new adjustment. The next feature I'd like to talk about is adjusting the angle of the beater, which can be done independently from the angle of the footboard. Loosen the vari-pitch beater holder using this nut. You'll see once you have that loosened that you can adjust the angle of the beater, as you can see, completely independently from the footboard. You can see that there are small markings showing the most common adjustments for the angle of the pedal. Choose a marking that you'd like and then simply retighten. So using these two features, you can create any combination of footboard angle and beater angle separately from one another. Another feature that I find to be really helpful on the pedal is the toe stopper. But if you prefer to have a flat surface and not have it there, you can use the drum hammer. Underneath there's an adjustment. You can actually remove this. It's completely removable. A recent addition to newer Iron Cobra models is a really cool feature called the Cobra Coil. The Cobra Coil is this unique spring that affects the feel of the pedal on the rebound. You can actually move the coil back and forth by a simple adjustment. Loosen the nut underneath the pedal, and you see that the coil can be moved forward and backward to adjust the feel of the footboard. The further back you put it, the more power it's going to give you on the return. So we'll adjust it back there. And again, you just retighten underneath with the drum hammer. So as you can see, there's pretty much infinite customization you can do to your Iron Cobra by adjusting all these different features. Let's talk about some common troubleshooting aspects of the Iron Cobra pedal. First, let me say that I've been using the same Iron Cobra for years, never had any problems with it. It's a rock solid pedal, but a couple of things that might possibly come up. If after long periods of playing the vari-pitch beater holder comes loose, you could wind up with a situation where you're pressing the pedal all the way down to the bottom, and then the beater comes back and it's way too far back. To fix that, you simply have to readjust the vari-pitch beater to a closer angle and make sure it's tight, and that should solve the problem. Another possible problem, some people have noticed some clicking in the sprocket when they play the pedal. That's also simply fixed. Loosen the vari-pitch beater holder, moving it out of the way, and then take your included Allen wrench and simply tighten these two screws. Once you've done that, reattach your beater holder, and that should eliminate any problem of any noise coming from the sprocket. The Iron Cobra is an extremely reliable pedal, very durable, and one thing I'd like to point out is that it's actually pretty much ready to go right out of the box. You can see that the features are all very easy to use, but I wanted to point out some of the other Tama artists, aside from myself, will play the pedal right out of the box basically with maybe just a slight adjustment to the spring tension. So while you have an enormous amount of options available to you to adjust the pedal, if you're starting out and it's your first Iron Cobra, put the spring on and maybe adjust the tightness of it a little bit, and then you're basically ready to play. It's probably not necessary to spend a tremendous amount of time going through all these adjustments. And remember to allow yourself to develop your technique. It doesn't all have to do with the adjustments on the pedal. It's also an equal amount of work to develop your technique on the pedal. The pedal will always go with you in any technique you want to do. If you want it tighter and heavier, you can adjust the beater balancer, you can adjust the height of the footboard, and you can do those things. But just be aware that the pedal, basically the way it's shipped from the factory, is pretty much ready to play. So I hope you guys had fun today, learned something. Hope you enjoy playing on your Iron Cobra pedal. Have a lot of fun with it, and make sure you check out Tama.com.